Now let's see cavity of the larynx. To understand the cavity of the larynx, we have three images. This is the sagittal section of the larynx. This is the coronal section of the larynx. And one more figure. This is the real prosected image of the laryngeal cavity from the above. So now let's see the sagittal section of the larynx. Laryngeal cavity, it extends from the laryngeal inlet. So this area, it is the area of the laryngeal inlet to the lower border of the cricoid cartilage. The anterior wall of the laryngeal cavity, it is formed by these structures, and the posterior wall, it is going to be formed by these structures. So this is the anterior wall, and this one is the posterior wall of the laryngeal cavity. So we can easily mark that the anterior wall is little bit more longer than that of the posterior wall, as this laryngeal inlet, it slopes downward and backward obliquely. Now the interior of the laryngeal cavity, it is having three folds from above downward, and these three folds, they include the upper margin of the quadrate ligament, that is the aryepiglottic fold, which is present somewhere here in the coronal section. So this is also a aryepiglottic fold. The second fold just below it, it is the lower margin of the quadrate membrane, and that is the vestibular fold. And this is the lower margin of the quadrate membrane in case of the coronal section. So this is the vestibular fold. And the upper margin of the cricovocal membrane, that is the vocal fold. Here in the coronal section, this is the upper free margin of the cricovocal membrane. So this is also a vocal fold. So there are three folds are present within the interior of the laryngeal cavity. Now the area between the two aryepiglottic fold, this area, it is called as the laryngeal inlet. The area between the two vestibular folds, it is named as rima vestibuli, and the space between the two vocal folds and the two vocal processes of the arytenoid cartilage, that space, it is called as a rima glottidis. Now this three folds within the interior of the laryngeal cavity will subdivide the laryngeal cavity into three subdivisions. The space between the laryngeal inlet and the rima vestibuli, this space, it is called as a vestibule of the laryngeal cavity. The space between the rima vestibuli and rima glottidis, that space, it is called as the sinus of the laryngeal cavity, and this sinus, it is extending towards the thyroid cartilage, one on each side, because the absence of the quadrate ligament as well as the cricovocal ligament at the site of the sinus. And one pouch, it is also extending from the sinus towards the lateral side, and that pouch, it is called as the saccule of the larynx. So this pouch, it is the saccule of the larynx, having a numerous mucus glands within it, and it helps to lubricate the sinus, and that's why it is also called as the oil can of the larynx. The space below the rima glottidis, that space up to the lower border of the cricoid cartilage, that space, it is called as the infraglottic space. So the interior of the laryngeal cavity will subdivide into three divisions: vestibule, sinus of the larynx, as well as the infraglottic space by this laryngeal inlet, rima vestibuli, and rima glottidis of the laryngeal cavity. Now let's see the real prosected image of the laryngeal cavity from above. We can appreciate this is the upper free margin of the epiglottis of the larynx, and this fold, it is the aryepiglottic fold, and we are able to see this is the boundary of the laryngeal inlet. So when we see inside the laryngeal inlet, we can find the laryngeal cavity, and let's enlarge the image. When we see inside the laryngeal cavity, we can find the lower free margin of the quadrate membrane, one on each side, and this fold, it is the vestibular fold. The one more fold is present just below the vestibular fold, which is more deep to it, and this fold, it is called as a vocal fold. So the space between this vestibular fold and this vocal fold, it is called as the sinus of the larynx, which is extending towards the lateral side to form the saccule of the larynx. Now we see the boundaries of the laryngeal inlet. See this figure. This is the figure of the larynx with the half of the hyoid bone is removed, and with the larynx, this thyroid cartilage is also been removed off one side, and here we can see the inlet of the larynx with the laryngeal cavity inside, and to see the inside, we cut the quadrate membrane as well as the cricovocal membrane and try to see inside the laryngeal cavity through the gap between the cut edges. Now see, this is the epiglottis covered with the mucous membrane. So the boundary of the laryngeal inlet, anteriorly it is bounded by this upper free margin of the epiglottis. On the both this side it is bounded by the lateral free margin of the epiglottis along with the aryepiglottic fold. This is the aryepiglottic fold, and within this aryepiglottic fold, as we already discussed, there are two muscles. One muscle is from arytenoid to epiglottis, that is aryepiglotticus muscle, and one muscle passes from the epiglottis to the thyroid cartilage, that is the thyroepiglotticus muscle. Along with the two cartilages, these cartilages are cuneiform cartilage and the corniculate cartilage, along with one quadrate membrane within the aryepiglottic fold. And posteriorly, this laryngeal inlet, it is bounded by this mucous fold, and this mucous fold, it lies between the two arytenoid cartilage, and this is the interarytenoid mucous fold. So these are the boundaries of the laryngeal inlet. Now with the contraction of this aryepiglotticus muscle, this laryngeal inlet will close, while the opening of the laryngeal inlet, it is mostly passive, but it is assisted by the contraction of the thyroepiglotticus muscle. Now the orientation with the cartilages of the larynx, we know that this arytenoid cartilage is posteriorly situated just above the cricoid, and this epiglottis, it lies in front of the thyroid angle. So the contraction of these two muscles will helpful for the movements of the, or we can say, opening or closing of the laryngeal inlet. Now let's see the rima vestibuli. So in this figure, we already discussed the rima vestibuli. This is the coronal section of the larynx, and this greenish portion, it is the quadrate membrane. Here below this membrane, it is the cricovocal membrane. So this rima vestibuli, it is the space between the lower free margin of the two quadrate ligament, and this is the vestibular folds. So the space between the two vestibular folds, this space is called as the rima vestibuli, and this vestibular folds, they are also called as false vocal cord, because the true vocal cords are situated at the upper free margin of the cricovocal membrane, and the space between the two, it is called as a rima glottidis. Now let's see the function of the rima vestibuli. This rima vestibuli, it permits the air entry in case of the inspiration, and it also prevents the air exit at the time of the expiration. So at the time of the expiration, it prevents the air exit, and at the time of the inspiration, it is responsible for permitting the air entry. So that's why this rima vestibuli, it is also called as exit valve. The another function of this rima vestibuli is it is responsible for holding of the breath at the end of the inspiration. It is done by the apposition of the vestibular folds, and this action, it is important to increase the intra-abdominal or intrathoracic pressure during the act of micturition, defecation, coughing, or parturition in case of female. Now let's see the rima glottidis. The other name of the rima glottidis, it is only glottidis. And this rima glottidis, it is the narrowest anteroposterior cleft in the laryngeal cavity, and it is lined by the non-keratinized stratified squamous epithelium. In case of the sagittal diameter, so here this is the sagittal diameter of the vocal fold. It is around 23 mm in case of male, while 17 mm in case of females. And this difference of the size of the anteroposterior diameter of the vocal fold, it is just because of the thyroid angle. This rima glottidis, it is bounded in front by the thyroid angle, behind by the interarytenoid mucous membrane, and on the each side it is bounded by this vocal fold by within 3/5 portion, and the 2/5 part it is formed by this vocal process of the arytenoid cartilage. So this rima glottidis will be divided into two parts, that is intermembranous portion, that is within the 3/5 part. So this portion, it is the intramembranous portion, and the posterior 2/5 part, it is the intercartilaginous part. While the function of the rima glottidis is it permits the air exit in the expiration and prevents the air entry in case of the inspiration. So it acts as the entry valve. A person can hold the breath at the end of the expiration and prevent next inspiration to follow. Another function of the rima glottidis is it acts as the voice box, and this is responsible for the production of the voice in case of the human being. And this voice is produced by the larynx by the vibration of the vocal folds.